Welcome to this video, Growing Your Fan Base, Lesson 6, Create Nurture Email Sequence. So again, remember those steps to email capture sequence. So we've done pretty much everything except for now we have to create some automated follow-up emails through ConvertKit, through their sequence, to basically help keep fans warm and fuzzy, make them happy that they're there, that they're in your fan base. And then also it'll automatically create a upsell opportunity within the emails that we'll talk about in just a second. So now we're going to go ahead and add the sequence directly to the landing page flow. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to go into the automate area of ConvertKit, and then you're going to go to visual automations. Actually, I'm going to save this, that way it's saved, but then I'm going to go into visual automations. And what I want to do is I want to create a new automation. What we're going to do is we're just going to create a from scratch empty automation, because I want to show you how to do this from scratch, even though they have some other ones in here that are pretty cool that you can use depending on what your purpose is. So if you're releasing new music or whatever you're trying to do, you'll have options to actually do these things. So like raise money to record an album, for example, there's templates for that. So there's some pretty cool stuff in here. I'm just going to show you how to create this one for the nurturing your leads. So let's go to start from scratch. And then basically when they actually join a form, so when they join that form, which is the Hall landing page, we're going to go ahead and add to an event. So now that they've hit that, they've actually entered their information, we're going to go ahead and trigger some automation. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an email sequence. Now we're going to go ahead and create a new one called lead nurture example template, something like that. So I'm going to hit add action. And if you actually have another trigger for them to join, like for example, if they get added to a tag of like new subscriber or something like that, you can also create multiple things that trigger to the same area. So for example, if I went to here and said, whatever, new sign up, for example, I could add that event. They could also be triggered towards that sequence. But in this example, they hit that landing page, they enter their email, then they go straight here. So there is going to be the ability to send emails from here. So basically when you click on here, it's going to give you some boilerplate filler email stuff. But what you're going to end up doing is writing 9 emails. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit add email. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now you might think, man, 9 emails is a lot, but what you're actually doing is you're guiding them along a journey. You're not like sending all these all at once or even in the course of a few days. It's going to be over a couple of weeks, ideally. We'll talk about exactly how that looks here in just a second. But right now we're actually going to I'm going to give you some ideas about what this should look like. So in email number 1, what I would recommend doing is welcoming them to the fan club and deliver whatever your incentive is that you offered them. Now, in essence, if you already delivered it through that capture page and it automatically sends them there, that's great. I would go ahead and make sure that they have it again. So like put that into this email. So like, welcome to the fan base, whatever you want to call them, like, and here's your download or whatever. Here's your song. Here's your whatever, right? So within the email, you'd actually write out like, hello. And then one cool thing is they have these at things here. So add personalization. So you can actually add their first name and then obviously start the next paragraph. Basically, you're going to ask, talk to them, thank them for joining, all that stuff. So thanks so much for joining. And I'm not going to type the whole thing out, but you'll get the idea here. What I would do is also say, here's that song, that new song or unreleased song that we promised, and then put that link to that thing there. So www.whatever. And then a really good way to get them to reply is just ask them what they think about that download or whatever. Like, tell us what you think of the song by hitting reply on this email. And the reason why you want to do that is because if they actually reply to your email, it'll show that it's been delivered, and it'll actually keep allowing you to deliver more stuff to them, because if they're actually replying, that means that it's like important to them. So you'll kind of hit their inbox more often. They'll see it more often, and the deliverability will be better. So then you just sign off. So something like, thanks again, your favorite band. or whatever you want to sign off with. And then you can put the name of the band or whatever. So that's day one. And basically that's after one day, they might get that one on the next day. So there's the download. You can even do it immediately if you want. So 1 hour or something like that. And then the next one, what I would recommend is waiting probably at least a day. And then basically, so you're on the second one, what you want to do is talk to them about your band. So here's our origin story. In case they hadn't figured out or known how you guys got together as a band, now's a great time to kind of detail that to the fans. So, hey there again. And then you can put their first name again. It's always great to have that personalized touch. We just wanted to reach out to explain the answer to a very common question that we get. And that's, how did you form your band? And then you go on to say, like, back in whatever time, whatever, explain it and be kind of, this one can be kind of long. Like you can have, it says down here like 34 words. You can have 500-600 words easily. Just talk about your origin story. Tell them how you guys became a band or how you started making music if you're a solo musician, whatever it is, because this is really good information for them to know. You can get as personal as you want and get it, not as personal as you want. But remember, this is a compelling conversation that you're having with your direct fan base, right? So especially if you're not a huge band, a lot of these fans might not know who you are. This is a really good introduction into who you are and why you are doing what you're doing. It makes that really human connection. So I highly encourage you doing this. I'm not going to type out your origin story because I don't know it, obviously, but you can type it out and then basically sign off again with, your favorite band or whatever. And then on email number 3, I would suggest waiting at least 2 days from that last email. So wait 2 days there after last email. So you got first day, first hour, basically. Then you wait an hour, a day for the origin story. Then you wait 2 days for the next one. And on that third email, what you're going to do is you're going to talk about any good feedback that you've received from fans or press or whatever already. So here's what our fans are saying, might be the subject line. And then you talk about, like, obviously, hey, scroll down. Hey, their first name again. We just wanted to talk to you about some of the cool things we have heard from our fans and even some media outlets about our music. And then you actually can literally go on and list things out. You can create a bullet point list. So if you click this plus sign here, you can go down and you can create bullet point lists. You can put in anything you want. So let's see here. Where is that bullet point list? It's in here somewhere. Yeah. So unordered list. You can have a numbered list. You can do other things, like you can actually add links. You can put bands in town, whatever. Like they have a few things in there, right? So you can make sure to do that if you want, and then sign off again. But these are really good things to include, so that way people have a good idea about what other people are saying about you, right? So like, I know people might want to think like, oh, well, we don't want to follow a really cool, like famous band. But what they want to do is they want to support and encourage things like, articles written about their favorite bands who are not making it yet, right? So if you can include some of that stuff or have some of those testimonials, whatever, it really helps and encourages them, that they're not the only ones in that crowd of fans. There are other people out there who also like your band. It's pretty cool. So then you kind of create all these, and as you go, what you'll actually do is you'll publish them, but you won't publish them until you have the whole sequence written. So on the next one, what I would highly encourage you to do is wait another 2 days. So another 2 days. And then email number 4 is going to be busting a myth about what you do. So this is just something kind of fun. So here's what people think we do. And then you can talk about how, like, people think you just go and play shows, get drunk, whatever, like whatever you want. Like you can kind of have fun with it. If you've had people commonly say, hey guys, we just think that you guys are a bunch of partiers or whatever, you can kind of tell them, like, here's what actually happens when we go into the songwriting process, or here's what actually happens when we sit down and talk about new songs, or, how much we rehearse per month, or, any of that stuff. And you can even include a link to a video of you practicing or whatever, or even a link to a video of you discussing a song, something like that. So you can type that all out. So, hey, and then obviously put the first name again. I'm just showing you this as like a practice, so that way you keep getting used to it. So most people think we just party and play music as a fun pastime. However, it might be of interest to you to know that we put in a lot of hard work. And you can say, like, check out this video of us talking about the songwriting process. And you can do that, right? And then you sign off and do that again. Like, these are just really good examples of things to keep people engaged, right? And you see how, as a fan of music, if you started to see this from some of your favorite bands, you'd be pretty interested in some of their stuff, right? Like, whatever your favorite band is, if they're talking to you like this and telling you their stories and just, engaging with you in this way, it's really about the journey of you and them together. It's not just like you telling people stuff for the sake of telling people stuff. Fans really want to know this stuff. Like, they want to know what your songwriting process is. They want to know how much hard work you put into it. They want to know, what you're doing behind the scenes, right? So that way they can kind of feel like they know you more. All right. So then the next one, which is email number 5, this is where you could share some valuable content. So maybe you have been recently put on a podcast, or maybe you've done some sort of cool video, or you have a really cool video that you want to share, like a music video. You can say something like, oh, and again, this will be 2 days later. So it's kind of just giving them a few days to kind of rest on what you're sharing with them. But check out this, and then you can say, like, music video, or you can just say, check this out, or check out this, or whatever. And then you'd actually put in, hey, we just had the opportunity to put together a really cool video based on whatever, right? So whatever you want to share, like whatever piece of valuable content that you have that's free that you can digitally share with somebody. So give them a link, send them to a YouTube page, anything that, would obviously be of interest to them. Podcasts are really cool because then you kind of have like a bit more in-depth conversation about stuff, and it's in real time. They can actually see you if it's a video recorded one or whatever. Or if you just did like a live acoustic set, or we're on like a live session for like a studio in town or something, you could actually stream that and then, send that to them, right? So if you have that and it's always available, you can send them directly to that in your 5th email. Now in email 6, you're starting to kind of get closer to the goal of giving them the meat and potatoes of everything about your band. I would say, again, it's going to be 2 days later. So this one could actually be legitimately about just an email about the songwriting process. So like, here's how we sit down to write a song. And this one, you'd actually tell them in text the story of how you write songs. So you would say, hey, again, and put their first name in there. And you'd say, a lot of people ask us how we put a song together. Do we start with guitar first, the lyrics, or just a simple melody? And then you can say, the reality is whatever, a combination of all those, or, maybe you just all decide on a concept and then write from there, or whatever it is. But then you can kind of dig into the songwriting process. And again, you're not really driving them to anything right now. You're just telling them information, right? So they can actually have that for their personal value. So then what I would say is on email number 7, actually this one is going to be about 4 days later. And the reason why is because you're just going to give them a little bit of time to breathe after all that cool stuff that you just sent them. So email number 7 is going to come 4 days later. And in this email, we're actually going to kind of shift this. You're going to write the most asked questions we get with answers. So this is literally your FAQs, right? So if you have frequently asked questions, especially if you've already got them on your website, you would actually just put them in here. So for example, we get asked a lot of the same questions over and over. And while we love talking to our fans, it does get a bit tiresome to answer the same question thousands of times. So we are putting together this FAQ with answers list just for you. So then you can put like Q, what does your band name mean? Wow, how many times does some bands get that, right? Like, then you just type it in, like, what does it mean? Whatever it is, right? So people get asked that question a lot, especially by reporters who are lazy, and really nobody cares what your band name means as long as it's cool and fits the genre or the vibe of your band. It's really not that important. Most band names are just why they are, right? You just picked it. It sounds cool. Sometimes it does have a meaning. If it does, it's a really good thing to put in here. If it doesn't, just tell the story of why you picked it, right? And what it means to you guys. So some bands just literally pick a name because it sounds cool. So you can put that in there. You can put any other FAQs as well. So like, what are your songs title means? What is your most popular song title mean? Whatever it is about your band, where you're from, what your musical influences are, all that stuff, I would put it in here. It's really also helpful for a lot of press that ever try to do research on you. It'll all be there. It should be on your site, but it should also be here in case somebody joins your fan base, right? So that's going to go out 4 days later. And then on the 8th email, you're going to actually do it the next day. And on email number 8, you are going to talk about an upsell. So we would love to invite you personally. And in this one, it can be something that is a purchase. So if you have actually created a Patreon page or something that they can subscribe to or something that they can purchase, this is where you would try to offer that. And I wouldn't put it into a weird pitch, just like, hey, at their name, obviously. It's been so great to have you on our fan journey so far. And we would love to take that to another level by inviting you to come join our Patreon page or whatever you're trying to do, right? So like if you're just want to sell them merch or whatever you want them to purchase, like you would create the email around that. So like what I would also do is talk about some of the cool benefits. So some of the benefits you will receive through the Patreon page are, and then you would obviously list some of these out, right? So you'd come down here to unordered list, like private live streams, private Q&As, all this stuff, right? Whatever you want to do. And then remember that Google form we asked what kind of content they would like. This is where you could actually put that into your Patreon page. If you were actually going to build out a Patreon page or Patreon page, whatever they call it, you would then take those ideas that they have for content that you asked them in that Google form, and you could put that right here because you've already asked them what they want to see. So then you could just regurgitate what they want from you right back to them, saying you don't have to tell them like, hey, we know you want this because you said that you did. You would just give it to them, and they would be like, sweet. And then you'd say something like, all for the very low price of $5 per month. Join us there. And then just put the link to that Patreon page, right? Whatever it is. And then just say, see you inside or something like that. And that's how you would basically write an email like that. Now, this wouldn't be applicable for every band, but if this is something that you're trying to put together, this is a great way to essentially do that. And then on the last email, your very last one, all you're going to do is you're going to send it 1 day. I think I changed the wrong one here. So this one was actually supposed to be 1 hour. There we go. I changed the bottom one first, so just a little edit there. But this one's going to be after 1 day. This one at the very beginning is 1 hour. So that's why it was confusing to me at first. So on the very last one, that's coming a day after the 8th email, so this is your 9th email, you just say, essentially, did you see this? Or did you see my email from yesterday or something like that? And then you would just write out basically the same thing that you just put yesterday. So you would say, you could even copy and paste directly from the rest of what you had here and just say, hey, at the subscriber name, I just wanted to check to see if you got my invitation from yesterday about joining our Patreon page. Here is a quick rundown. So then you just copy and paste whatever, right? So again, you don't have to make them this short. You can make them longer. You can make them kind of as long as you really want and still just try to be to the point, especially with an upsell offer. You don't want to take up a ton of space. And then on that last one, especially, you just want to get right to the point. Like if you made this one really long in email number 8, write out a really long invitation. What you want to do is condense that on email number 9, because you basically want them to just see the details, the quick bullet points of it, and give them that last option. That's pretty much the entire template of what you're going to do. So this is how you create it, right? So then you would publish every single one of these. You would hit live, and then you would probably name your automation. But when we go back to the automation, they would now have, and this would be active, obviously. As soon as they enter this, they would be subscribed to that email automation. And then you could even add other things to happen afterwards. Like you could add a tag saying like ended automation or completed automation, whatever you want. You could create a condition of like, if they purchase something. Yeah. So under event, you can put product purchased. If they've purchased something, you can then put them into an onboarding account or onboarding emails or something like that through your Patreon page. But that can also be a separate one as well. So basically all you need to do is have the landing page and then those nurture sequence. And then that's essentially a sales funnel, right? You get them to a free download of something, a new song or whatever, unreleased song. And then as soon as they do that, they go to a Google form. They enter that information. That comes back to you. You can upload that straight into ConvertKit to update their information. And then on the email sequence, it basically just takes them through a journey until there is something that they can purchase from you at the end of that. And on an automatic basis, you have some sort of sales funnel working for you in the back end all the time. It's a passive income kind of sequence, right? The only thing that's not passive is the fact that you have to run ads or create posts to that landing page to try to get somebody to there. You'll see these templates below, but again, just so you know, this is the fan journey upon signing up, the 9 emails. Email number 1, welcome into the fan club and deliver the incentive that you offered, plus ask them to reply. Again, it helps make sure that the emails are delivered ongoing. Email number 2, tell your fan base your origin story. Email number 3, talk about any good feedback you have received from fans or media or anybody else already. And if you don't have anything received good feedback yet, just tell them about how your mom thinks you're awesome. Email number 4, bust a myth about what you do. Some people might think we do this, but really we do this. So if they think we just party, this is actually how much hard work we put into it. Email number 5, share a valuable piece of content. So maybe it's, behind the scenes footage or something like that. That's pretty cool. Email number 6, this would be in text about you writing your songwriting process or something that connects with the fans. Then in email number 7, you answer the most commonly asked questions like your band name, all that other stuff, right? And email number 8, that's when you invite them to make a purchase. So join the Patreon, pre-purchase new music. That would be obviously something that need to be updated accordingly though. So you could go into email number 8 and email number 9 as you have new music to launch. So you could use this as part of your launch, but you will have a separate launch sequence later. So I would highly encourage them to just get on some sort of thing that they can purchase all the time. And then again, in email number 9, that's the follow-up to email number 8. Hey, did you see this? Or hey, did you see my email from yesterday? Whatever. So, and again, just so you know when to send them out, email number 1, you're basically sending out an hour later or immediately or however fast you can send it out. Email number 2, delay 1 day. Email number 3, delay 2 days from the last email. and then basically 2 days from the next for the next few ones. And then email number 7, you give them a little bit of a break and wait 4 days from the email number 6. Email number 8 goes right out after the next day from email number 7, and so does email number 9. So you'll see these 3 slides here below this so you can download it. But let's go ahead and take some action. So create your lead nurture sequence. So that's the 9 emails. And again, you can see the templates directly below this video and directly in the landing page flow on ConvertKit. And make sure to have an upsell offer for the last 2 emails. Basically, that's a passive income strategy that you can work all the time. So as long as you have something to sell that never goes away, you can make money from this just nurture sequence all the time.